What's up, besties? It's the one and only Yanabee, and I'm back to y'all with another video. Alright, so as y'all see by the title, this is just gonna be a video of me telling y'all the first time that I worked in a club, also giving y'all some tips about working in a club, because I worked in 3 different clubs. As a bottle girl, a shot girl, and as a server. So I was gonna give y'all like some pointers, some tips, my experience working in a club, especially the fact that I started working in a club when I had just turned 20. Yeah. I had just turned 20, right? Yeah, I had just turned 20 because I had to remember the hair, but I had just turned 20. And when I had went for my interview and everything like that, I was 19. So I had got the job when I was 19, but then I think like I didn't start till like a week or 2 later, but my birthday was in that time. So I had turned 20 years old. I was nervous, I'm not gonna lie. When I first started working in the club, I didn't know what to expect, because the first club that I worked in was a strip club. So I wasn't sure what to expect. I wasn't, I was just like, I don't know, I'm nervous. And at the time, I was still working a 9 to 5, which was DTLR, which is a shoe store. And at that time, baby, I loved shoes. Like, you couldn't pay me not to go to the club that night and then still get up in the morning at 9 a.m. to make it to my shift, because I love shoes that much. So when I was first working in the club, it was cool. It was cool. The first day we was like with a lot of girls or whatever who had got hired for the position of a shot girl. And a shot girl was somebody who sold shots at the club or whatever. They told us like you could sell them for however much you wanted to sell them for. I particularly sold my shots, I think it was like $5 to $10 what people were selling them for. So I would either sell them for $5 or $7, because my thing was I was always trying to sell these shots so I can go get another round and sell that next round of shots. Let me pause y'all, because I know y'all see this on my arm. This what happened when you flat iron your bob, okay? I'm flat ironing my damn bob and I burnt my arm, but it's healing, so pray for it. It's gonna be healed real soon, and there's gonna be go. Like I was saying, so when I was in the club, it was a lot of girls or whatever. I'm not gonna say a lot, it was like 10 girls, and we had to like come for like training. So you had to wear your bodysuit, you had to get some fishnets, your shoes, you had to bring everything that they told you to bring for your first day. Now, the interview process, because the club that I was working at was called, I think it was called Sky 11, but people said it used to be called like the Box or something like that. So I was working there. I don't know if they changed the name now or if it got shut down, or I don't know, okay? I don't even live in Chicago no more, so I can't tell y'all if the club is still up. But so the interview process, it was like it was like an actual interview. This wasn't no little ghetto club interview. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. This was the actual interview. Like, I had to wear a dress. Well, I had to wear something form-fitting, so I wore a dress, and it had to be a dark color or something they were saying. So I had to wear a black dress, and I had to go into like this big building downtown. Mind you, the club that I was working at was in the suburbs, so I had to go to this big building downtown and go up the elevator up to the top floor, tell the lady, the receptionist, who I was. I had to sit down, wait to be called. The man came and got me, and no, he was not, all I'm gonna say is he was not black. He was not an African-American man. The man had came and got me and took me into the room, and it was literally a regular interview. Like, he asked regular questions like, why do you want to work here? Do you have any kids? What persuasion and stuff like that. It was just like a lot of questions, like, interview questions. So after the interview, they took you to like this room where you had to change from out of your clothes into like this little bralette so that they could take pictures of you and see your body. Now I'm like, what, why wouldn't y'all tell us this? You know what I mean? At this time, once again, I'm 19 going on 20. I was nervous. Like, I wasn't out here just, you know, posting my body, showing my body off. And if you out here doing that, that's you. But that wasn't me. So I'm not out here just posting my body, showing my body off. So I'm like, what the hell? Like, y'all could have forewarned me, because it was literally like a bra and some panties. Yeah. And you had to stand there and let them take pictures of you. It was cool though. It was cool. It was like a little lingerie set, as they called it. But bra and panties is what lingerie at the end of the day. Like, especially if you got the little lace and all of that. Yeah. Come on, very much the same thing. So after that, they told me like, okay, we're gonna give you a call if we wanna, you know, move forward with you. So at this time, I'm like, okay. So I literally, my mom was working downtown at the time. So okay. I literally went with my mom, because it was me, my mom. I don't know how, but it was me and her. And I think my little sister was down there too. I don't remember, but it was just me. I remember me and her, we went into this place. It was called M-Burger. If you're from Chicago and you know what M-Burger is, if you've ever been to M-Burger, then you know, you know. So it was this place called M-Burger, and I'm like, I want a burger. Let's go get a burger. So we went to go get a burger and get a milkshake. And she was like, you know, what happened or whatever. I'm like, yeah, they told me they're gonna give me a call back if, you know, they want to move forward with me or whatever. As I'm leaving out of M-Burger, I get the call, y'all. I'm like, hello? Because at the time, I didn't know who it was, because they didn't have like a set number or anything like that. So it was just somebody calling me. So I'm like, hello. But I'm, you know, picking up my calls because I don't know what number they're gonna call from. So I call, I'm like, hello. They're like, yeah, we wanted to move forward, da 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 da. We're about to send you all the information, this, then the third. So I'm like, okay, cool. So then, like I said, 2 weeks, I think it was like a week. Yeah, it was like a week, because I ended up still keeping my birthday hairstyle, because that picture that y'all see on my thing, that was my birthday hairstyle for that year. I'm gonna show y'all a picture of just like how I looked for my birthday that year, but that was my birthday hairstyle. So I had started work that week, which was cool, because I'm like, okay, about to get some money right after my birthday. And then I was working, and it was like, I started getting tired. I'm not gonna lie, I started getting tired, and then I started getting irritated, because it was like, wasn't no money really in the club that I was at. So it was like, okay, do I want to go to another club, or, and then it was like certain days, because it's certain days that be your money days, but like I told you, I was working 9 to 5, so like it was certain days that I couldn't be, you know, doing both or whatever. So I had to, I was thinking to myself, like, you know, I'm gonna quit one of these jobs. Which job I'm gonna quit? I didn't know which job I wanted to quit at the time, but then I thought, I'm like, okay, it's more logical for me to quit the club, because I don't want to quit, you know, my actual income job, because club money is not, let's just get this out the way. Club money is never for sure, okay? Like, it don't matter. You can make $1,000 this night and make $2 the next night. Like, no, it's never giving, oh, you're gonna make that money. Like, yeah, you can put yourself out there, you can do whatever you got to do, but it's never like guaranteed. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna quit my club, because I'm not about to quit the money that's guaranteed. And you know, I still had a lot of stuff going on that, you know, I'm paying my own bills and stuff. I don't got time for the money to not be coming in. And girl, it was just too much. So I'm like, I'm gonna quit the club. So then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna work this last night, which was a Saturday. So I had worked that Saturday. I think I had made like $800, and that was my last night. And I was so pissed, because I'm like, I really should have continued doing it. But I'm like, you know, you live and you learn. So then I got to Atlanta, and that was, like I told you, I was 19. Right now I am 24. Well, I was 19 when I'm 20. I'm 24 right now, so that was like 4 years ago that I was working at that club. And then I started working at, what was it called? It was like some lounge down here. I can't even remember what it was called. But I literally worked there for like 2 days. Now let me tell y'all why I worked there for 2 days. Because the guy, I called the guy, I'm like, yeah, you know. So I went to my interview. I got the job. That interview was just like, that was a little bootleg interview. I went to my interview, I got the job, long story short. So I'm like, okay, got the job, boom, about to be making money. At this time, I wasn't working a 9 to 5. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna be, you know, putting all my work and all my hours and stuff into the club or whatever. So what happened? I got the job or whatever on the spot. And then he was like, okay, you come back tomorrow for your training day or whatever. So I'm like, okay, cool. It's time to get to training. I'm about to start making this money. So I asked him, like, you know, when do you start making money from training? Because I'm literally driving like 30 minutes to this place, which isn't bad. But it's like, when am I going to start making money? Because if I'm not going to be making money, because I never heard of a club talking about you don't start making money until like 3 days after, or something like that. So he was basically like, I had to work the full weekend in order for me to get in order for me to start getting paid. And I'm like, oh hell no, I'm not doing that. So I'm like, yeah, no, that's a no for me. I'm not doing that. We're not doing that. No. So I told him, like, yeah, I'm not doing that. So then he was like, okay, just work tonight, and then after tonight, we'll see how you do. And if you do good, you know, we gonna start paying you or whatever. So I'm like, okay. So I had went in that night. I worked. And mind you, I'm working with this other girl. So the girl is supposed to be training me or whatever. I'm working with this other girl, but I'm basically taking all the orders. So at this job, you got like, I think it was like 15% of every order you took or whatever. So at the end of the night, I see how much she made. And I'm like, damn, that shit would have really been mine if I was actually doing it. You know what I mean? Like if I was actually getting paid. But right now, I'm not actually getting paid. So what the fuck? And I think she had made like, like 6 something, but it was a Wednesday. So I'm like, okay, that's decent. You know what I mean? Like one day, 6, you know, I'm coming back to work tomorrow. Like, come on now. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna, what did I say? I'm like, okay, I'm gonna come back or whatever. So then he, so I go in the next day and he's like, I'm like, okay, you know, I'm about to start getting paid, da 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 da. I'm talking to him about this before I even start, because we ain't finna get on this floor and you finna play me. So I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. So I'm like, what I say? Asked him, yeah, I'm like, am I gonna start getting paid or whatever? So then he was like, oh, you have to work the rest of the weekend and then we're gonna decide and stuff like that. So I'm like, oh hell no, I'm not about to play with you. Like, I'm about to go. Like, give my ID, because I had needed a liquor license for this job. So I'm like, give me my ID. I'm about to go. Like, you have me fucked up. I'm not. And then I need to find my ID, because if I find my ID, I can tell y'all what the place was called, because the place is on my actual ID. But I'm like, oh hell no, I'm about to go. I'm not about to work another $600, $700, $800 fucking night and somebody else get all the money. It's a no for me. So I ended up leaving that same night. He called me the next day and asked me, did I want to come back or something like that? And I was just like, no, fuck you and the motherfucking kids, or whatever the fuck, you know, the little TikTok be saying. The last club I ended up working at was this club called Spanky's. And the only reason it was like a, that was my server position. So I'm over there, I like the job. Now at this time I was working at Spanky's and I was working at the European Wax Center. But my job bringing in, like my actual 9 to 5 is bringing in money to where I can do, like, you know, if I want to do something, I can do something. Like I was bringing in, you know, enough income for me to be able to do stuff. So it wasn't like I really needed the Spanky's job. However, I had started working there because I'm like, I always, for some reason, I always like the nightlife. Like, the nightlife is just like lit, because you get lit, you have fun and drinking, you having a good time, and you still making money. Who wouldn't want to do that? So I'm working there for about, I want to say like 3 weeks. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't work there a long time. And the reason I quit was because, what happened? So I was working at one lounge. So he got 2 lounges. I was working at one lounge, and the one lounge that I was working at was like 40 minutes away from my house, and it was one that was closer. So I was trying to see if I could switch lounges, because the one lounge that I was working at, they didn't sell liquor. All they sold was food items. So I'm like, I want to go to the one that sells liquor anyway, because at this one you made 18% gratuity off all of your sales. So I'm like, I want to go to the other one because the other one gotta be, you know, bringing in more income. They sell liquor, and everybody was saying like it was busier. And when I got there to work over there, it was definitely busy. It was busy, okay? It was real busy. So what happened? I had went, so I asked him, he was like, yeah, or whatever. He switched me to the stores. I went to the other store. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm good. Like, about to make my money. So I'm over there. I worked at the other store. Now, at the other store that I had just left, I was there my whole time because I worked at this store literally 2 days. So I had worked a game night. Now, mind you, I wasn't supposed to work this day because I didn't work Sundays. So he called me like, you know, can I work this day? Da 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 da. He ain't got nobody there. I'm like, yeah, why wouldn't I go work? It's a game night. The game, I think the game was like for Chicago people or something like that. And on top of, they had liquor. So I'm knowing people finna be drunk, buy more liquor, buy more food, you know, and run their tabs up. So I get to work. I'm at work, working by myself. Like, you have the bartender who making my drinks, and then it's me, you know, serving all of the food, serving the drinks, da 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 da. So, but if they sat at the bar, then he would make, you know, the income from that or whatever, or the profit from that. So I worked that whole day. I was there for like 6 hours by myself, ripping, burning, ripping and burning, ripping and burning. I swear to God, I was like, my skin was boiling. Like, I was so freaking hot. Like, I was so, like, I was just ready to go home, get in the shower. I know I had made some money that day because it was like everybody was tipping. Like, if they wasn't tipping on in cash, they was tipping on card. And you didn't get your card payments until that Friday. So I'm knowing I'm making some money. You know what I mean? I'm knowing I'm making some money. So I didn't work because I had to work my 9 to 5. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to my 9 to 5, work this week. Plus I had worked my 9 to 5 and I was at the other place the full last week. Like, I think I had worked like 4 days at the lounge after I got off work. So it was like, I was tired. And this was a Sunday, which was the day I wasn't supposed to work. I had just worked Saturday and I had worked Friday. Now those days have went on that check for that store. And then the Sunday that I had worked went on the other check from the other store. Now that week, no, I'm lying, I didn't work 4 days. Yeah, I'm lying. I worked 2 days. I worked 2 days, but one of the days it wasn't busy, so I ended up leaving. And then the other day I stayed for like 4 hours. Now, the day that I worked by myself, so I went that Friday to go pick up my checks. The day that I worked by so the day that I worked at the other club, the 2 days, it was like, I'm like 6-7 hours. My check from there, not including my tips that I got in cash, my check from there was $142, which I was like, okay, that's decent, you know, for 2 days. Not even a full 2 days, but 6 hours, $142. I feel like that's decent. Plus, mind y'all, we don't sell liquor at this one. We only sell food. And mind y'all, when I said we was slow one day, and then the other day I had just worked or whatever, and it wasn't as busy as the other lounge. Okay, so just wrap y'all head around it. So I went to go get my check from the other store. Mind y'all, I had on my clothes because I was gonna work after I had picked up my checks. But like, after I sent my checks, it was enough for me. So I had went over to the other lounge to pick up my check. And why the fuck I get my check? My check was $74. What? I'm all hell no. Something gotta be wrong. Like, because why the fuck is my check $74? So I'm like, oh, I'm not doing this shit. Like, I'm not about to play with no fucking jobs right now. Like, I'm already tired of shit. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go home. So I get in the car, I go home or whatever. And I don't go back for like a week. He calls me. He like, are you gonna work? When you come back to work? People talking about you. They trying to see you there, this and the third. When you come back to work? I'm not. When I got my check was $74. I feel like my check should have been more than that. He like, how much did you make in cash tips at it? And I'm like, I didn't really make nothing. I made like $40. And he was like, that should be a decent amount for considering you work like what, 6-7 hours. First of all, yeah, I worked 6-7 hours, but I worked that 6-7 hours by myself at a where we sell liquor, and it was game day. I'm in there, it's packed in there. I'm selling liquor and I'm selling food, and you telling me I only got $74? Baby, the $74 had to be the gratuity without tips, because it was a no. Like, I was adding, because I started adding up like the tips that I made, because I know people was just like tipping percentages off of their bill, and every person who bill I had was over $150. So I'm like, something not adding up. I'm like, you know what, I'm not going back. He called, I told him I'm not coming back. He told me, okay, he like, I'm gonna check into it, I'm gonna call you back tomorrow. Never get a call the next day. I think I called him like the day after the next day, like, what's going on, you know. Never got a response, never got anything. So I was just like, you know what, fuck it, I'm not going. Like, I'm not about to play with you. I'm not gonna come back up there. I'm not gonna work. None of that. And I just honestly didn't have time for the bullshit, because I was working an actual job too. So I'm like, I don't have time to like play around right now. You know what I'm saying? Time is money, and I ain't got time to be wasting time. So I was like, fuck it, I'm not going back. And he was from Chicago. So I just felt like it was some shady shit, because I'm from Chicago, and you know, if you from the city, you know how Chicago people be. So yeah, and yeah, that was my experiences working in the club. Will I go back to the club? I don't know. I don't think so. At this point I don't think I'll go back to the club. I'm really just trying to pursue my content career, and it's fine. I think me and the club is done. You know, I think me and working for somebody else in general is just like a wrap, you know. But if you are looking into working in the club, or if that's what you're looking, you know, that's what you want to do your thing. I'm gonna give some tips. So the first tip that I would give, make sure you always be cautious of what you take inside of the club with you. Make sure you are keeping up with your hygiene. Also, make sure you keep you a fanny pack or something like that to keep your money inside of. Because if you don't got no fanny pack or nothing like that, baby, anybody can steal your money. Ain't nobody gonna tell you if your money drop or nothing. So you want to make sure that you are on top of those 3 priorities first and foremost. Make sure when it's time to leave the club, you are watching your surroundings. If you don't have to leave by yourself, don't leave by yourself. Me, I knew other people in there, and then like sometimes my mom would come get me, or my auntie would come get me, or somebody would just come get me from the club. So it was never like I was really leaving out of the club by myself. So make sure you have somebody either with you, or you on the phone with somebody or something when you're leaving out of the club, because you want to always make sure your safety is your first priority when it comes to anything. And then if something doesn't feel right, most likely it isn't right, just leave. And something y'all need to know is, don't be picking up them strippers' money, because this girl, she was up in there picking up this stripper money when I was working up in there. Them strippers be ready to beat y'all ass, so don't picking up their money while you up in there, okay? But I hope y'all enjoyed those tips, and I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Make sure y'all go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on those post notifications so you can get notified anytime that your girl posts, because like I told y'all, every Sunday, where I'm at on your TV, and you don't want to miss me next time. So turn on those post notifications. I need to get my nails done. This is gonna have to be a mainless vlog, because look at this, I'm giving what it's supposed to give, and I'm not here for it. It is going on 3 weeks for my nails and my bob, and I actually feel like my bob is kind of still holding up. However, I am ready for a new hairstyle, so I'm gonna take y'all on the maintenance vlog. And yeah, that's not gonna be in this video, of course. I already ended this video. So once again, see y'all next time. Bye.